Welcome to Spiritual Calisthenics. Christ is in our midst. On June 27th, we commemorate St. Samson the Hospitable, St. Joanna the Myrrhbearer, St. Anektos the Martyr, and St. Luke the Hermit. Regarding St. Samson, the innkeeper of Constantinople, St. Samson was from Rome and flourished in the reign of St. Justinian the Great. Being a physician, he came to Constantinople, where he so distinguished himself for his virtue and his love for the sick and the poor that Patriarch Minas ordained him priest. The Emperor Justinian was healed by him, and out of gratitude built him a large hospital, which was afterwards known as the Hospice of Samson. St. Samson is one of the holy unmercenaries. In your patience, you have won your reward, O righteous Father. You did persevere unceasingly in prayer. You did love the poor, and did provide for them in all things. Wherefore intercede with Christ our God, O blessed and godly-minded Samson, that our souls be saved. From St. Paul's letter to the Romans. Brethren, you also must consider yourselves dead to sin and alive to God in Christ Jesus. Let not sin, therefore, reign in your mortal bodies to make you obey their passions. Do not yield your members to sin as instruments of wickedness, but yield yourselves to God as men who have been brought from death to life, and your members to God as instruments of righteousness. For sin will have no dominion over you, since you are not under law, but under grace. What then? Are we to sin because we are not under the law, but under grace? By no means. This is important because sometimes people say, well, I've been baptized, so therefore I can no longer sin. No, we can still sin. We can still fall back into our old bad habits. However, grace transforms us and gives us the ability to go towards good, to become like unto God because of grace. Do you not know that if you yield yourself to anyone as obedient slaves, you are slaves of the one you obey, either of sin, which leads to death, or of obedience, which leads to righteousness? So this means that our free will is moderated. It is not complete free will, not yet. We are either going to listen to our better half, our guardian angel that'll lead us to Christ, or we're going to lead the life of the passions and follow them. It's going to be one or the other. And so this is not true free will. This is being able to choose A or B. True free will is being able to choose any direction you want without anyone compelling you to do one or the other. To be able to choose the good on your own without any kind of motivation. But thanks be to God that you who were once slaves of sin have become obedient from the heart to the standard of teaching to which you were committed. In other words, by becoming obedient to God, we are no longer slaves of sin, but are able to achieve true righteousness. It's almost as if we've been given training wheels and now are able to move toward being on that bike, on that two-wheeler, to be able to go towards salvation. From the Gospel according to St. Matthew. At that time, when Jesus entered Peter's house, he saw his mother-in-law lying sick with a fever. He touched her hand, and the fever left her, and she rose and served him. This shows us that when God heals our hearts and heals our infirmities, we're not supposed to just lay about and be lazy, but rather we are immediately supposed to get up. That evening, they brought to him many who were possessed with demons, and he cast out the spirits with a word, and healed all who were sick. This was to fulfill what was spoken by the prophet Isaiah. He took our infirmities and bore our diseases. Now, when Jesus saw great crowds around him, he gave orders to go over to the other side. And a scribe came up and said to him, Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go. Jesus said to him, Foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. Another of the disciples said to him, Lord, let me first go and bury my father. But Jesus said to him, Follow me, and leave the dead to bury their own dead. And when he entered the boat, his disciples followed him. In other words, when we follow after Christ, we are brought to life. We abandon death. We abandon our old ways. We no longer consider ourselves to be dwelling in this earth, but rather moving to the next place. Foxes have dens, birds of the air have their nests, but the Son of Man is nowhere to lay his head means that Christ, our God, is perpetually moving. He's not stagnant. He's not like brackish water. He's continuously moving to try to save us. I hope that you've enjoyed today's spiritual calisthenics. Have a blessed and wonderful day.